Last night then we had our weekly developer stream for Marvel's Avengers, and it was actually really fun. It wasn't chock full of information, but it seemed that the developers really seemed a bit more relaxed, which was good to see. And we did get some information on Hawkeye, some details on some of his abilities, so I'll run over that in the video. And then we've got some other things we're going to run over that were discussed in the developer stream 2 weeks ago that I actually missed. But some of the fun moments that were in the video was a question come up in regards to, is a hot dog a sandwich? So let me know what you think about that. Andy was mentioning about the fact that he's eaten grass in the past. He was asking people in chat if they'd ever eaten grass, which was really odd. And then you had Layla and her upside down glasses. So overall it was really fun. Some of them can drag a bit with some of these live streams, but this one I actually really enjoyed watching it. Now let's jump in anyway and we'll check out the details we'll have on Hawkeye. Before we do that, actually, if you're enjoying the content, hit the subscribe button and feel free to follow me on Twitch as well, because I've started to stream there. But let's check out the information. This information, and this comes from the live stream that was just last night. It was collated by, I think it's Calyx, is how you say it, on Reddit, so props to him, and I'll put a link to the actual Reddit post. But to run through this, so the information we really want to know about, it's all Hawkeye really at the moment. So it says that the Hawkeye teases include the reveal of pulsar and tripwire arrows. Pulsar arrows stick to surfaces and can be detonated. So Kate at the moment has the arrows she can fire which she detonates, and I think actually you can stick them on surfaces as well, but generally you'll target an enemy, you hold down the heavy attack button to do that. So it'll be interesting to see how they differ from Kate's. You've then got tripwire arrows, which definitely sounds interesting. It might take a bit of setup, but I'm liking the idea of bringing some strategy into the game. So with tripwire arrows, they shoot out free and they can knock back enemies, so I'm really hoping when we get the cloning lab, whenever that will be, I know it's a bit of a meme at the moment, but whenever we do actually get that, I'm really hoping that you have content where, let's say, you're getting charged by a ton of enemies in a choke point, and then Clint can throw down these tripwire arrows and stop the enemies coming through so you can pick them off. That would be great. That's my hope for something like that. We got information that the Clint showcase stream will follow the deep dive. Kate and Clint are very distinct. They've mentioned that various times before, such as Clint having a different way of swinging his sword and unique heroics. I would say that's to be expected. It would be exceptionally disappointing if any hero had the same heroics as other ones. The next gen update was teased. Every hero will have unique haptic feedback on the PS5 controller, so that's when it shakes a certain way. You've also got the adaptive triggers, which are incredible. I've got Hitman 3 on PlayStation 5, and when you actually shoot in that game you can feel some feedback on the triggers as if you're actually pulling a trigger on a gun, so I'm hoping they bring in the adaptive triggers as well for the game. Doesn't really make it clear, it's just talking about the haptic feedback, but that is pretty nice as well. It mentions load times will be significantly faster. They're pretty fast as it is on PS5, and the release date was teased for the upcoming War Table video, so the release date for the next gen patch and for Clint will both be included in the War Table, so that's going to be pretty big, and I think we'll probably see some future content in that as well, maybe something around Black Panther. Fingers crossed. They were talking about enemy factions we would like to see. I don't know if they were just having a bit of fun with this or not, but Hydra was mentioned a lot, and also the Hand. Ultron bots were mentioned, but Phil said, like, really? Like, he was surprised, like, the people want to see more robots, so I don't think that's on the cards anytime soon. They asked about unique traits people would like to see for fighting enemies, such as different elemental weaknesses. There's still no update on cloning labs or super adaptoid, unfortunately, and they talked about the power rating issue, which was fixed a while back. A lot of people think this is a bug, but it's not. So what they've essentially done is they've capped the power rating in the majority of missions at 150, and because your character's 150, it means, or your character can be 150 I should say, it means you can actually breeze through that content. They're going to change the UI to make it a bit clearer that it's actually capped at that, but the real interesting stuff really was to do with Clint and the two different arrows, the pulsars, which do sound a little bit like Kate, but the tripwire arrows, which most certainly sound unique and could bring up a lot of fun opportunities. Now let's actually jump in here and we're going to look at a roundup of the stream that was done 2 weeks ago, because there's some really interesting stuff in that. This was also done by Calyx as well. So we have quite a few questions and answers here, but I'll run through the ones that I found to be interesting. So there's talk of the roadmap. I actually come up with my own roadmap recently. If you check back a few videos, if you missed that and you want to see it, but there's talk of a roadmap, and I really feel if this did come out and it had names like Black Panther and Captain Marvel in it, it could really give a lot of people hope for the game. But they're mentioning that we're doing internally this right now. Everyone in the organisation wants us to have really good solid dates and a lot of stuff, so we're trying to sort that lot out. So that's where that's at. So it's a pretty active conversation. So from this, it sounds like they really want to do a roadmap, and I hope so much that they do bring it out, because I think it really would help to see. Like, think about the hype with the MCU, for example, when you've seen all the movies listed and you know you had them to look forward to. Something similar to that for this game really would be fantastic, but I'm pretty certain we are going to get it. It's just when, again, is a big question. We talk about Cloning Labs a little bit here, so we're still figuring out exactly when they can release it. Same issue from last time. If you're not really aware, I believe there's problems with matchmaking. Now, Cloning Lab might be something that takes an hour or two to complete, and at the moment in matchmaking, players get kicked relatively often, so I think they're trying to sort that. And they've also talked about ways that they can potentially have players rejoin a session that's actually in progress. So that could be a good solution to that. But that's the interesting information we had in this first page, so let's check out the next one. With this next page here, we've got some interesting questions and answers. So one is asking about the Replayable Campaign, essentially like a New Game Plus, when that will be coming. Now, Andy does jump in and almost correct Phil in a way, but I'm not sure if Phil spoke when he shouldn't have, but he said the feature is very soon. So maybe we get that before Hawkeye. That would be nice, actually, a nice thing to actually pass the time while we're waiting for him. You've then got some talk about the crashes in multiplayer. I mentioned that earlier on, and that's one of the reasons the Cloning Lab isn't out, so they're looking into that. And then we've got a question here to do with the gear rework. They don't give anything specific, but he does talk a fair amount about it. So I'm not going to read all this out because there isn't anything specific, but for anyone interested in some hints about the gear rework, then have a little read at this page here. The final page here has got two questions and answers that I found pretty interesting. The first one is about the gear rework. Once again, somebody's asking, have you thought about rotating gear to different missions each week or day? And then Phil replies with stuff like that is going to be in our gear rework. We have some better ideas to make it interesting. I'm not sure what the better ideas would be. If you played any other loot games and you could think of ideas that could fall in line with that, then do let me know in the comments below. Got some questions about Clint, but we've had a lot of that answered with the live stream we actually had there in the war table that's coming. And then this one here I found really interesting about Spider-Man, because I've seen some people saying they're pretty certain that the game's going to shut down ASAP and we won't be getting Spider-Man. Now, one thing I'm pretty sure we will get, I'm not sure about a lot of things, but Spider-Man was something that was an exclusive deal from Sony, so Sony will have paid for that actual content, which means I don't think that Crystal Dynamics can break the contract and get out of it. So they do state here, Spider-Man and the PS5, we know that about the PS5 because it's going to come with the war table, the date for it, but Spider-Man and PS5 is something we're going to communicate in the near future, but it's still coming. So that is confirmed that Spider-Man will definitely be coming to the game regardless what actually happens. So let's just say worst case scenario for the game, we would be getting Kate, Clint, 99.9% certain we're going to get Black Panther, because it looks like so much that's done, and we're getting Spider-Man as well. But hopefully, if the game continues, we'll get other characters that have been data mined. You'll be getting She-Hulk, you'll be getting Winter Soldier, I think would be amazing. I would love an Assault style character, and maybe even Captain Marvel as well, so fingers crossed. But that's everything that was covered there. Once again, it was a fun stream to watch, and it was good to see them having a bit of fun, because at the moment, let's be honest, with this pandemic, everything's a bit shit. The last year's been pretty shit. This year started off really pretty bad as well. So I think everyone needs a bit of a break, players and developers. So hopefully this continues and we start to get more news, and players and developers can start to have a bit of fun with the game as well. But let me know what you think about all this in the comments below, and thanks for tuning in. Stay safe as always, and I'll see you again soon.